I'm going to take you on a tour of the Mercedes-Benz model family. I realize that this is one of the more confusing brands out there in that we have a ton of different classes and then models within those classes. So a quick lesson before I take you around the lot and show you what everything is. That way, hopefully, moving forward when I'm talking about various cars with my sales team, it'll be easier to know what it is that we're referring to. So there's two components to any Mercedes-Benz model. There is class of car, which is designated by a letter, and then there are numbers that follow it. The numbers are referencing the engine or the output of the car in some way. The classes of our cars are all alphabetized, beginning with A and ending at S. So the further along the alphabet you go, the bigger and more luxurious and more expensive the cars become. The second part of any Mercedes-Benz model, within each model class, there are going to be different numbers that follow, and that's just designating different engines or trims or variants of that model class. So the bigger the number becomes, the bigger the engine, the more aggressive and sporty it will become. Contrary to popular belief, the bigger that number becomes, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual size of the vehicle. It's all relating to the engine in some way. Our model family begins at A. With the sedans, we have A, C, E, and S. And with our SUVs, what they did in 2015 is they renamed those to be in line with the sedans that they share something in common with. So putting a GL at the front, we have GLA, GLB, GLC, GLE, and GLS. The third category of vehicles that we have would be coupes and convertibles. It's a little bit different for the coupes and the convertibles, but we have the CLE class, which combines the C and the E into one class of coupes and convertibles. And then we have the SL, which is our roadster, and the GT, which is available as a two-door and a four-door. So now we're going to head outside. I'm going to show you what all of these models are. That way, the next time we're talking about them in the videos, hopefully it'll be a little easier to follow along with the vehicles that we're talking about. We no longer have the A class here in the States. They stopped production on that about 2 years ago, but we do have the CLA. And the CLA would be our entry-level sedan. We technically call it a four-door coupe because it has the sloped roofline in the back to give it more of that coupe profile. Here is what the CLA looks like. It's available starting as the CLA 250. These are all non-AMG line cars, and here's one with the AMG line there. Next up, we have the C class. The C class used to be the entry-level Mercedes-Benz until the CLA came along in 2014. This vehicle has moved significantly up market and would be a big step up in luxury. So the C class is the next in line in the sedan model family, and here you have several of them with the AMG line styling package. Next up, we have the E class, and the E class gets quite a bit larger than the C. This has been completely redesigned for the 2024 model year and is the most current and technologically updated Mercedes-Benz we have. The E class is considered by many to be the bread and butter sedan of the Mercedes-Benz model family. It's available as a sedan and also as a wagon, which you can see here. Finally, we have the S class. The S class is our largest, most luxurious and expensive sedan, considered by many to be the standard for mega luxury sedans in the industry. The S class is truly iconic, available as the S580 with a V8, an S500 with a 6, and also the S580E, which is a plug-in hybrid. Interestingly, the S is also one of the last vehicles available with the classic Mercedes-Benz star on the hood. Moving on to the SUVs, the smallest of the SUVs is the GLA. The GLA almost has the profile of a hatchback, but it's very elevated, so it gives you that kind of European look, but with a ride position that's much more like an American SUV. Right after that is the GLB. Now the GLB we don't have a corresponding sedan for. You might have noticed it was missing from the sedans. The GLB is the next size up, and this is much boxier and kind of sporty looking in comparison to the GLA, quite a bit larger than the GLA as well. After the GLB, we have the GLC. This is the #1 selling vehicle for Mercedes-Benz. This is a mid-size SUV, which is good for small families and also empty nesters that maybe don't need all the space of the larger SUVs that they once had. The GLC was completely redesigned for 2014, so this is a really excellent model for us. These are more basically equipped cars here, and then we have a freshly delivered GLC here with the AMG Sports Package. The GLC Coupe would be a very low production variant of the GLC. These, like the CLA, they have a sloped roofline in the back, so you trade a lot of the headroom of the regular GLC for a much sportier appearance of the GLC coupe. These are extremely popular, but quite a bit more expensive because they are very low production models by comparison. That brings us to the GLE. The GLE would be considered the bread and butter family SUV. It's available as a 5-passenger, or it can be optioned with a third row so that you can get 7 passengers in there. This one, quite a bit bigger than the GLC. This is a model without AMG line here, and you can see that with the AMG line you get quite a different look, very sporty by comparison. The GLE, the next most popular vehicle in the Mercedes-Benz family, and for good reason. They are a tremendous value, and for growing families, they're an excellent choice. Which brings us to the GLS. The GLS is our largest SUV. It is a 3-row vehicle from the factory, and it can be configured as a 6-passenger or as a 7-passenger with a bench in the middle. So the 6 would give you captain's chairs. This is a more basic model without AMG line, and then we have some GLSs back here with the AMG line, and you can see how that really changes the look of the vehicle. CLE is an all-new model for this year, replacing what used to be a C-Class and an E-Class coupe convertible and combining it into one model to try to simplify things. It is available as a coupe and also as a convertible. And these come with all-wheel drive, so they are usable year-round. Had to get a look at the CLE 53 AMG before we move on. The SL, completely redesigned a few years ago, has moved to a soft top so that it can now accommodate 4 seats, much like a 911. The SL is a very iconic car for us as well, and this would be considered our roadster. The GT is all new for this year in 2-door form. The GT is our grand touring sports car. It is a rocket ship, but it is also livable with on a daily basis. So the GT is for somebody who's looking for an alternative to the 911. And then finally we have the GT in 4-door form. The GT 4-door is the spiritual successor to the CLS. This car, again, is considered to be a 4-door coupe. It has that coupe roof line in the back. Very sporty, very fast, a lot like a Porsche Panamera, but also has some great utility. And I almost forgot our electric cars. We have the EQE and the EQS. I only have SUVs here to show you, but they follow in line with the rest of our model family. The E being the mid-sized and the S being the larger SUV. This would be true for the sedans as well. We don't have a C-Class equivalent for the EQ family yet, but I think we will down the road. Hopefully that video was helpful. Key takeaways are, as you move up the alphabet from A to S, the vehicles get bigger, more luxurious, and more expensive. We didn't touch on all the different models and variants within the classes of cars because there are several for each class. But remember that the larger the number becomes, the bigger the engine, the more likely it becomes an AMG. So it's a very, very cool brand. What I love so much about it is that there is something for everyone, from AMGs to Maybachs to the regular class of cars. We have just about every type of vehicle that you could ever dream of owning. If you like this, please like and follow for more. My name is Doug from Benzs and Bowties. Have a great night.